you're watching James. My name's James, you're watching me, and I'm talking about watches. Well, today I'm going to be doing a full review of my Casio Databank, model number DBC32. Now, DBC, I'm not exactly sure, but I think that refers to Data Bank Calculator, but I could be wrong. If you know different to me, let me know in the comments. Now, I bought this particular watch off eBay Australia, and it cost me 70 Australian dollars. I've had a look on Google, I've had a look at different sites, and this watch is readily available all over the place. So I'm sure you'll be able to find one if you want one at a good price wherever you happen to be living. And I have to say, since buying this watch, I've actually worn it a lot. I've actually quite enjoyed it on my wrist. I think it's quite fun, and I'm going to show you a few things about it, about why it actually has ended up on my wrist so much. So let's flip the camera around now and let's check out this Casio Databank. So when I bought this Casio Databank, I got it without a box. That's probably because I got it through a grey market seller. It means it was probably cheaper for the packaging for them to post it to me, but that's perfectly fine. It still comes with a warranty. It comes with a user manual, a little hang tag, and then there was this little bit of paper that was attached to the strap there. Now, one of the reasons why I got this watch, and one of the reasons why I think it is quite so good, is because of the huge amount of list of features that this watch comes with. It has a LED backlight, it has 25 inbuilt opportunities for storage of both numbers and names. That's part of that data bank section of it. It has a dual time feature, it has calculator, it has a currency conversion. You can actually set in there a particular feature of your local currency, and you can actually convert currency on this one. I haven't figured out how to do that, but it certainly can do that. It has a stopwatch, it has 5 alarm settings, it has a snooze function, it has a 10-year battery life. You can change it between 24-hour and 12-hour time, and it has this section here on the lugs, or the ability on the lugs here to swap it out to other straps. That's why I bought this watch, and I think it's quite amazing in what it can do. And all for under 70 Australian dollars. I think that is quite an amazing feat that Casio can produce that. But let's have a look at why I picked this one. The main reason I picked this one, not only just for all those features, is the overall size of this watch. Most Casios tend to be about that sort of size, especially on the cheaper end of the market, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with those watches. I think they're perfectly great. However, I like a little bit more substance on my wrist, or perhaps a little bit more wrist presence, and just having these extra sections to the dial or to the numbers there, as you can see, is the calculator pad. It just gives me that little bit more wrist presence. So what are the dimensions of this? Well, we're looking at 37.3 millimeters across here on the top. Down here, we're looking at 31.6 millimeters. The width of the watch up here on the top as well is 12.2 millimeters, and down here, we're looking at 7.1 millimeters. We have an overall 51 millimeter lug to lug, which does sound like a lot, but just have a look at the curve of that case. It really does drop down and really fit to your wrist a lot better than what that 51 millimeters suggests. It has a 22 millimeter lug width, but as you can see, the supplied bracelet itself actually overhangs that slightly. So it starts off a little bit wider than 22 millimeters. And on that supplied bracelet, it is 56 grams. Now this watch is made up of a few different materials. We have a curved piece of acrylic crystal covering the actual display itself, and there is a really nice soft curve there, and that's quite nice. The case itself is silver, however it is like a molded plastic or an acrylic as well. It does feel a little bit plasticky. It certainly doesn't feel particularly high quality. However, it certainly does make the whole operation of the watch much lighter. And then on the back we have this stainless steel case back, which gives us a fair bit of information about the watch. It says that it has a tele memo of 25 functions. That's the databank section of it. 5 multifunctional alarms, calculator, dual time. It says it's a Casio, gives you the model number DBC32. It says it has a stainless steel case back, and it has 13 different languages available to you, so you can scroll through depending on the language, and it's made in China. So let's have a look, let's run through the features of it. Obviously, I've got it in 24-hour time. I prefer 24-hour time, but we can change it to AM and PM if we like. And then we can change the language or select which language we're going to be using by that one there. The top left shows us English at the moment. And then when we flick through, that's the data bank section of the watch. You can now enter up to 25 names and phone numbers, or just numbers. We have a calculator. Obviously that's going to work quite easily. You put in your numbers, you pick whatever function that you want, you pick what you want to do, and equals. There we go, 104. We then have number 1 of 5 alarms. We then have a stopwatch, which we can start and stop with the bottom right button there, or like the lap timer version of it. And then we can reset with the top left there. We also have a dual time feature, and then we're back to original. The other thing that I do like about it is as you scroll through, it still displays what the actual time is today. So if you go through the features, it's still saying it's 1:41 p.m. A really great little feature. So if you are using any of those other features on the watch, then you still can tell what time of day it is. Now that bracelet is stainless steel, however it is a rolled steel. You can see there that it has little sections in there. It's also very thin. I don't find it grabs too many hairs, but it does certainly grab a few. We have a fairly simple clasp there. It just has a pressed steel construction, but we've got a huge amount of micro adjust, so you absolutely should get this to fit and suit your wrist. And here's what it looks like on that supplied bracelet. You can see it fits sort of pretty much comfortably on my 6 3/4 inch wrist. It certainly feels like it curves around with that little section there that curves down. It's very light and comfortable, and I think it's a lot of fun on wrist as well. I think it's really just a fun, funky, affordable watch. But I have not been wearing it on this bracelet. I do find it feels a little bit light, a little bit jangly, and it does, I do have a lot of hair on my wrist, so it does tend to nip a couple. And it's one of the reasons why I bought this watch, the easy ability to change it out to other straps. Now, while I've got the case off, I do want to show you inside here. You can see it's just like a molded plastic, and you can see the lug holes that are in here. They're not drilled in, they're not into metal, they are into plastic. So it does cause a little bit of issues if you are swapping out. You'll see here that there is a little bit of crunching and gashing there. That is from when I've swapped it over to a couple of different straps. So you've got to be a little bit delicate with this one. If you are going to swap it around from strap to strap, you have to be careful when you take it in and out, because if you end up ripping that plastic, then it's all over. You're not really going to be able to fix that. You're not really going to be able to then use the watch. You're going to have to buy something new. And yes, it's my ever faithful engineered bracelet off AliExpress. And I think it actually works quite well on this watch. And not only does it sort of look quite good and fit in well with the sort of silver case and how it drops down there, but it also now gives the watch a bit of significant weight. And now it feels like it's something a little bit more substantial on the wrist. So what do I like about it? What don't I like about it? And what would I change? Well, what I like is the fun, affordable nature that you get from it. And I love how you can swap these straps out. What I don't like about it, well, it does feel a little bit plasticky and a little bit sort of too affordable. And what would I change? Well, it would be great if it came with a slightly more substantial strap, but that wasn't really the point of this. If it came with a much more substantial strap initially, it wouldn't be quite as affordable, and I probably would have swapped it out with something else anyway. And the last thing I want to show you is one of those final changes that I would make to this watch, and it is the backlight. It is perfectly functional, it works perfectly well at night, but I'd love to see it to be that bright blue electroluminescent coming from the back. I think that would be absolutely amazing. Okay, let's flick back to me now for some of my final thoughts. So I've posed myself a question: how much fun in the watch world can you have for 70 Australian dollars? Well, I think a lot of fun with a lot of features, with an interesting look on the wrist, and with a few different strap options as well. And this Casio really ticks that box of affordable and fun. Thank you very much for watching, guys and girls. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you again in the next video.